Nevada?
No, University. He went to NLR. They call that Nevada. Kaepernick went to University of Reno.
No, Colin Kaepernick went to University of Nevada.
At Reno. This is
James, help us out here.
That's a rich kid.
What do you beat this kid? He's afraid to talk. He's like a Japanese wife concubine. He's afraid to move, this guy.
Kaepernick, and my brother played for the 49ers. So Kaepernick just visited our home. This kid is so good. I knew him. I started following him when he was in high school.
Yeah.
And then I said about a year ago, what happened to that kid I used to? And I went online and I just Kaepernick. And then I'm watching football about 6 months ago. And there he's starting for the 49ers. I thought this is wonderful. I love him. He's a great kid. I love these new young quarterbacks. And speaking of a race, there's a lot of young black quarterbacks coming out now, right?
Yeah, we got to fix that.
I know you white people are going crazy.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I know you don't. There's a lot of things. I'm talking about white people now. I
mean, you guys can vote and everything. That's fine. That's cool. I understand that. But I don't understand this
I know you didn't say what you just said. We can what?
You can vote. You didn't know that? No one told George Wallace. No one told George Wallace he's allowed to vote. I thought Obama was your guy. George Wallace, it's not a place to shampoo and condition. That little booth is a place to press a button and vote for who you want to be president of these here United States of America. It's a free American country. You can vote now. Women can vote too. It's crazy. Asians, Filipinos, if you're here, you can vote. You can run for president, but you got to be 35. So you got to wait till next year.
You need to know that. I'm 216. I'm going to piss Hillary off. I'm running for president. Going to be some changes made too. George Wallace, real changes this time.
Such
I'm
as?
going to balance the budget. I can do everything. Immigrations, first of all, I'm telling everybody that's listening right now, don't get pissed at me because when I'm in charge of this country, I'm Mexican in charge of everything. Every cabinet post, every administrator, I'm putting Mexican. You know why? Mexicans can get shit done.
Yeah.
At the bottom line, Mexican will show up on time. Think about that. Then a Mexican will bring other people with them. Think about that.
Yeah.
Mexicans can do anything in the world. Anything can be done. A Mexican can walk into a Chinese restaurant and you eat your Chinese food. When you're walking out, go ahead, stop, peep in the kitchen. See who's cooking your Chinese. Go on back there and say hello to Maylene Sanchez.
They do run all the Italian.
People don't understand Mexican. I mean, it's just like people don't even know who's the richest man in the world. Do you know who's the richest man in the world?
I do not.
Carlos Slim is a Mexican.
Carlos Slim? Is that a Mexican pimp? Carlos Slim?
Whatever he is, he's the richest.
His last name is Slim?
His name is, that's what they call him, Carlos Slim. He's the richest man in the world. So I can tell JC, you don't think like, what does my hat say there?
I be thinking.
You need to get yourself, make sure tonight I give you a hat that says, I be thinking.
Okay.
And make sure your sister get one too, because he's a little off. Okay? I be thinking. Here's something that I've been thinking for a while, and I don't know whether it's true or not, but you ever notice you never see a homeless Mexican? You never, ever see a homeless Mexican.
I've never seen a homeless Asian man either.
I don't know about the Asian, but I do know if you give a Mexican like 8 bricks and like 3 packs of chewing gum, you give a Mexican 8 bricks and 3 packs of chewing gum, you
spit it out, stupid.
You come back a week later, they got townhouses and condos and shit all up the whole block, and a brand new Home Depot up on the corner. You ever notice Mexican got their own unemployment office? You ever drive by Home Depot? They got a whole office and everything just set up there.
You ever let those guys in your car? Have you ever used those guys?
No, I haven't.
I have.
Angie,
you ever used the Mexican guys outside Home Depot? Be honest. James?
You have?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, what do you drive by and pick them up to go home and
I had to move furniture. I swear to God, I had to use furniture.
Why don't you use...
Because you could pay 4 guys $20.
This is true.
Or you could pay one guy $40 an hour.
Right? You're not stupid. You got to do that.
But they pile into the car. But they realize when you pull over to get their services, like that's money. So you think you're going to pull over and they're going to be like gentlemanly about it. Like,
they just jump right in the car?
Like you got to drive away because they're hanging off the bumpers. There's like 40 guys trying, and I got a baby seat. So I got 4 guys squeezed in next to a baby seat.
And they're so short.
So I just picked a little one. That's right. I picked a little one. So brilliant minds think alike.
So then the moving people, you talk about the moving. That's another thing I don't understand. You live in Los Angeles, right?
Yes, sir.
You ever see the truck says starving students? What is it, moving?
Yeah, starving students.
Well, and they got a fleet of trucks. I don't understand that shit. How could you be starving with a fleet of trucks? And you got 2 guys in a truck. They got 30 trucks on the parking
You know why
lot.
they're starving? Because they go to George Wallace's house to do a podcast after he promised them lunch.
Oh, my goodness.
Let me ask you this:
Yes.
what cuts would you make if you were president? You got to cut the budget. You got to cut some programs out. What programs does George Wallace cut when he's president of these United States?
You don't have to cut. You just have to reorganize.
All right.
Like the mailman should come Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Must see how much money I just saved in Philadelphia. Nobody gives a damn whether you get your bills on Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. But look how much money I saved. Then the mailman and the garbage man should be the same guy. They're dropping off and picking up the same shit. Look at me. Look at me when I'm talking to you.
Yes, sir.
I say, boy, look at me when I'm talking.
That boy sounds like a motorboat. But. You are the black foghorn leghorn.
Let me tell you something.
You're black, right?
See, yeah. I'm whatever I have to be on that. If it's got to do something with a holiday, I'm Jewish. Yom Kippur, I'm Jewish. Okay, Columbus Day coming up, I'm from Ohio. And whatever I have to be, Catholic, whatever I have to be. What's the next holiday? St. Patrick's Day?
Yeah, you're Irish.
I'm Irish.
Black Irish.
I'm Black Irish. Whatever I am.
Have you ever
Yes,
been to
I
a
have.
Seder? All right, fair enough. Next question. You ever been to an Irish Seder, like a Seder dinner with a Jewish family?
No, I've been to the what?
When they do,
You said an Irish Seder with
I meant Jewish. I'm sorry.
I went to Jewish. Let me tell you something. Now, you know my best friend for 37 years is
Jerry
Jerry
Seinfeld.
Seinfeld. Now, when we first met in New York City, he asked me to come to his home for Thanksgiving dinner. And I'm a black kid from Georgia. I don't know anything about the Jewish people. I need to go back to school. I don't know anything about the whole Holocaust. I don't know anything. We learn different things in the South than you learn up here. We learned a lot about black history and stuff like that. But Jerry Seinfeld, the Jewish person that he is, invited me to his home for Thanksgiving dinner. And I said, I can't do it. I was telling my friends, I said, he wants me to come to his house and meet his family. I said, I cannot do it. I can't. They're going to have gefilte fish. What is
Yeah.
And they're going to have the borscht.
Borscht?
And I said, I just can't do it. I can't eat that stuff. And it was very hard. And somebody said, well, you got to go. But I went over to his home with him, and I met his whole family. That's when we really became the best friends. I met his family, and we finally had to go eat. And I'm just going like, oh, my God. And I went in to eat on the table. You know what they had for dinner? Turkey, mashed potatoes, green beans, sweet potato pie, not pie, but some kind of sweet potato dish.
George thought we were going to have gefilte fish. I gave him turkey and green beans.
We had the same thing. They had the same thing that we had in our house, and we became close friends. We've been friends like that.
So it turns out we're all just human beings at the end of the day that like a good meal.
Could you do me a favor and say that again? That's a great quote.
It turns out we're all just human beings at the end of the day that enjoy a good meal.
Just sit down and eat together, and
Let's
everybody's
eat.
everybody's the same. That's why I love people. I don't care whether you're black, white, blue, or green.
What about Asians? What about Asians?
Asians, I can eat with anybody.
Really?
You ever been to a Chinese restaurant?
Oh, yeah.
P.F. Chang's. Oh, let's go there when we leave here.
Love it.
Oh, is it great? Yeah. I love everybody. That's why.
I like the waiter. The waiter's always mad when you go to like Chinatown. The waiter's just harried.
Because you be talking after them. You be trying to, what we order these. You're trying to do the accent. They don't like that shit. They speak.
I don't do that at a Chinese restaurant. I tell him I tell him I want, Mongolian beef, and he draws like a picture of a turtle on a piece of paper, and he turns around and takes it out.
That's wrong. That's just why they don't like you when you're walking there. I like New York City Chinese food because you don't even have to go out in New York City. You go to New York, you can just get on the telephone like we're upstairs here today. Chances are there's a Chinese restaurant downstairs in New York City.
Yeah.
Give me some mugu got pan, egg fried rice, and a Diet Coke. Thank you so much. Ding dong. Just like that. I don't know how they do it. I think they cook it on the bicycle in New York City. They have a Michael Wong. I'm serious. You've been in New York before. You lived in New York.
I lived in New York a long time, yeah.
Because that's where you become a comic. That's why you're a good comic. You ever notice the better comics always come out of New York City?
I say it all the time, and I think the LA comics have this self-depreciating.
No, they don't know how to work. They don't have work ethics like we have. They don't know anything about.
Thank you. No one knows what it's like to be in a trench and to dig for 15 years before you see your first ray of light and to appreciate it when you have it. Everyone has this sense of entitlement, and they get a shot at a show, and everything stinks. They want to tell you how terrible everything is all the time.
They don't know about working.
Then go fucking back to waiting tables because I'm having a great time. Don't ruin it for me.
In New York City, what? And they don't do this in Los Angeles. In New York City, well, if we can do 7 sets a night, write me down. I'm going to jump out the car, go here, go there. That's why the comedians from New York are so good, because we used to work and we want to work. Because if you don't do it in New York, someone else will take your place.
Have you also noticed, George, East Coast comics, New York, tri-state area, the rooms that we started in, like you had to defend yourself for your life. You had like mob guys yelling at you. And like in LA, they come up in these like alternative rooms where everyone's polite.
It's gotten better on the East Coast now. But when I started back, you had the mob guys.
Was this in color television? Was that invented yet?
Have you ever had a microphone shoved up your ass
Not
You're
today.
really pushing it now.
Only if you go sideways, because there's plenty of room up there, my man. Let me tell you something right now. I'm no stranger to things in my butt. I'll tell you right now.
That's what
I get colonoscopies on my birthday.
That's what I heard, and that's why I invited you over here.
Yeah, I'm ready to go. I'll tell you what. You were talking about taking naps
right now.
I don't need it. Can you spit? If you can spit, I don't.
You're a nasty ass. You bastard. You.
What do I care? I just like to have a good time, man. I got a prostate. If you can massage it, let's make it happen. I want you to go in my ass, and I want your hand to go so far in that you use my dick as a sock puppet and make my dick talk to Andrew. And then you can send James for other puppets, and he can take much longer than normal to come back.
Talk to your dick, too.
James, you took an extraordinarily long time to go downstairs to get cheeseburgers.
James, are you going to feed these people, or are you just going to let them sit here and talk?
Well, we can't eat and talk at the same time.
Why not?
Let's take a break. Let's eat, and then we'll come back. And but listen.
Your shit is over.
Say what now?
James, go to the store and get me a hamburger and go. By the time
you forgot to get him food, he forgot to tell you.
He did. He didn't give me his order or anything.
Well, you should have asked
James
me.
is nervous around you. Do you beat him? He's like a Japanese wife. He's always 4 feet behind you. He's very deferential. Look at this poor guy.
See him just bow over?
I see him bow.
He's good at that.
He's
You
terrified.
have a good time with him too, bowing over.
I have a good time with everybody.
Well, yes.
But I need to look. I'm married. I want to make more babies too. So you got to leave me a
Would
little.
you like to have more kids?
Oh yeah, I could have 6. I'd be octodad. I would love it.
I have 7 siblings. Everybody in my family had a lot of kids. That's
Which number are you? Which one are you?
I'm the baby boy.
You're 8.
And
lucky number 8. That's a very lucky number.
I have 6 siblings. So I went to night school.
I don't know. It's not my family, George.
I went to night school. I'm the baby boy. And everybody.
When you went to night school, did they mark you absent because you're so black? How come when you tell a joke, we all laugh? When I tell a joke,
I'm not going to sit up here and be insulted in my own house.
Well, where do you usually go?
James, you stop laughing at this shit. Don't you forget I signed the front of the check.
Who signs the back?
If the front is not signed, it's not going to work. So I'm not going to have him laughing at your little bullshit jokes. And I'm getting.
Say "and" a couple more times. Jesus Christ! What happened to you? You had a fucking stroke in front of a million people just now.
If there are a million,
will you reset, Mr. Wallace? Will someone please reset, Mr. Wallace? He's skipping.
If there's a million people listening right now, I want you to do me this favor. If there's a million people, we're going to do something that's never been done before. This is going to be a great trick.
200,000 people listening right now. In the month, a million people will have listened to it.
Here's what we're going to do.
All right.
This is a test trial. 200 people listening to. We're going to give a keyword, and you're going to make that. We're going to make it your name. Your name. They're going to tweet you, and you're going to tweet them back, and you're going to get them into the George Wallace I Be Thinking show if they come to Las Vegas.
Free tickets?
This has never been done. Yeah.
Let's
do that. Let's see.
So they tweet Mr. George Wallace
at Mr.
and
George.
at JMoore37.
Let's do your name. Or should we do my name?
Well, it should be both of our names.
Let's do both of our names.
And what's the word that they tweet?
J-Mohr.
What about I Be Thinking?
I Be Thinking.
You tweet?
No, everybody does I Be Thinking already.
Oh.
That's my, I Be Thinking and shout out and on things. They already do that. But because this is you.
James, where's my lunch?
James, they want to know where the lunch is. Because it's
No,
you.
that's what they tweet.
Okay.
Mr. George Wallace, JMoore37, and then you tweet this, James, where's my lunch? And you will get free tickets to the George Wallace I Be Thinking show at the Flamingo Hotel.
Remember that. Write that down, James, because you got to take that to the box office. Because the people at the box office, we don't give a shit whether you remember J. Mohr, J. Thomas, none of these damn J's, Jay Leno. But we're going to do that. Tell them what you said again.
James, where's my lunch?
James, where's my lunch?
That's what you tweet. You tweet at Mr. George Wallace, at JMoore37. Just include me in it and you in it so we can both see it at the same time because you and I tweet back and forth.
Good, yeah.
And you tweet, James, where's my lunch?
Where's my lunch? That's a good code.
And then if we will get back to you, George Wallace and James will get back to you, and you will get free. This is great, George Wallace.
Let's make this important. Let's make this. This is very important. This is something I do, and you'll know why I do this. All college students up to the age 21, bring your ID, you get into the show for free. All active military, you get in the show for free. Why do I do this? Remember when we were in school and we really didn't have money? You can go see a Las Vegas show. We can afford $80, $90 for a ticket. So I said, you know what? I have to give back. I love to give back because I learned this from Oprah, to give back. And I